Alfonso, this is Optimus Prime. Transform and roll out.
What is up, Alfonso Nation? Welcome back, everybody in here, out there, everywhere, to another video. Guys, yes, this right here, the video you're watching at this moment, is the start of a new series that I wanted to launch on my channel, and it is a brand new branch of the Teletraan network that I have. You know, I have all of the different series, and I use the word Teletraan because it's kind of like the supercomputer, so it's like the hub where all the Autobots get everything. It's like a source of information, or like a source, you know? So that's kind of what I wanted this channel to have, like, you know, like the Teletraan network is the source of like most of my content. So as of like yesterday, the Teletraan network had Teletraan unboxings, which I do a lot of, Teletraan reviews, which I'm sadly ending, Teletraan toy hunts, the most popular one, the one that you guys love the most, Teletraan Creatorverse, which is a passion branch for me, and Teletraan Creator Spotlight, which I am not yet to launch, but it is still in progress. Well, today, I'm starting another branch, and this is Teletraan Report. And this is just like a news series where I'm going to be talking about the developments that happen in the Transformers franchise. I'm probably not going to discuss figure news on this. I don't know yet. Mainly like, you know, movie developments or show developments or video game developments, things like that in the multimedia industry that I'm thinking about just kind of like breaking down. Normally I would go live for something like this and talk about it live, but I think an edited video format in this quality is much better for the channel. So just let me know what you guys think about this format, if you guys like this, kind of like a podcast, more calmer. I know I'm like very excited and I like to get energy up, but I wanted you guys to see another side of me that I don't show a lot on the channel, and that's the calmer side of Alfonso. I don't always act like a buffoon. And I mean, that is a genuine side of me that gets just really excited. That's the inner kid. But the other side of me is the adult, and I do just like to calmly talk about what I love. So this is a series where I'm going to basically just talk about what's going on in the news, and we got some news to start off with, because when I was preparing for this, I was not expecting this big news to drop like it just did. This is currently being shot on April 25th, and we are 2 days away from the theatrical trailer for Rise of the Beasts. This is Rise of the Beasts week. This is like a big week for Rise of the Beasts, and probably going to be the biggest week until the release of the film, because the trailer is probably going to be the biggest trailer they drop for this, considering how close we are in proximity to the release. I don't think there's going to be another really big trailer outside of this one. This is a big week for Rise of the Beasts. It's a big week for the marketing team. It's a big week for Paramount, because CinemaCon is literally happening as I sit here. And, you know, they're going to have the Paramount presentation coming up at the end of the week, which is going to spark the release of the trailer itself. And so there are statues literally stationed out in Las Vegas, and they look freaking amazing. I would love to see them in person, but I don't think I'll be able to ever see them in person unless I get invited to the premiere, which would be awesome, but that probably ain't gonna happen. But at night, they look phenomenal. They got the lights. It's just so nice. I think they are life-size, so they are like legitimately what they would look like if they were real in person. Like, they're actually like accurately sized, and they are currently at CinemaCon with Paramount Pictures. So in anticipation of the Rise of the Beast week, a lot of stuff is happening, a lot of stuff is unfolding. We have new information from Lorenzo Di Bonaventura in several interviews he's been doing with Collider. A lot of information dropping with Collider. Now, I don't know how reliable Lorenzo is. I mean, he's someone who's involved with the process, he's involved with the production, but he's the kind of person that really wants to hammer down the Bayverse and the Bayverse's involvement in all of this, which I don't think is what they're trying to do, is like their target. Stephen Cable Jr. did say that this was a reboot, and what we're hearing from Lorenzo is that it's kind of more of a prequel. And the way that I interpret it, it could possibly mean that they're setting this movie up to be a prequel only if it doesn't perform well, or a reboot if it does perform well, so they can continue to make more installments. I think it's a reboot. I think it's not a prequel. It's not going to tie with the Bayverse, but some of the information dropped by Lorenzo gives that impression of, like, and there was also a magazine by Total Film. It's an article that was supposed to release on the 27th, but I think someone got it early, and some of the subscribers are getting it earlier, and it's specifically saying that, you know, Optimus Prime in Rise of the Beast, it's not really comfortable with the humans yet, because, you know, he hasn't gotten to the comfort level that he got when he met Sam Witwicky. It's a little bit before that. So it's almost like it's insinuating that the timeline is connected with the Bayverse, when this is very clearly a reboot, which doesn't make sense. It's very confusing, and I think at this moment, we should probably disregard it and go with Stephen Cable Jr.'s take on this because he's the director of it. He knows exactly what the target is for this film. I think we should move on to another branch, another continuity, another age of Transformers live action. And I said this on Twitter. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, by the way, please do. I try to post the real-time updates, and I am very happy to see that it is growing, and also on Instagram. And I honestly think that because Rise of the Beast is the start of a new trilogy, it's going to be the first installment of 3 expected films. So I really hope Rise of the Beast and his second trailer really like silences any doubt with where the timeline is going, and I do think that trailer is going to be amazing. It's going to really hit hard. Right now, there's a lot of information that Lorenzo Di Bonaventura is sharing with Collider, which I think some of it is reliable. Some of it we can go off of because he's talking about the emotional element of Rise of the Beast, how they're going to basically show Optimus Prime's story arc, how he might be a little on edge and not the Optimus we recognize, that we know and love, the humble, noble, wise, loving Optimus, you know, willing to sacrifice everything for the human race. According to Lorenzo, it's not going to be like that. I think at the beginning, maybe Optimus will be on edge. He will not be willing to do some of the things that he would normally be willing to do in the Bayverse or in, you know, the future. I'll just say the future. From what he's saying, Mirage is going to be not only the comedic relief, but he's going to be the connection with humanity. He's going to be the one that kind of connects the Autobots to the human race in an emotional way. He's going to create that bond, and I think that connection is going to really be important for the story as it goes on. Now, the article that was, I guess you can say, leaked, did confirm the presence of Scorponok. It also confirms that Transit will be a Terracon. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to initially be a Decepticon and convert, or if he's just going to be a Terracon all the way through. According to that article, I think Transit is going to be a Terracon as well. Now, again, I don't know how reliable that article is, considering what it has said about connecting the timelines. It's very confusing, but it is a huge news dump, nevertheless. So I'm really excited to see how they bridge this, and that's, I think, what I'm most hyped for in this trailer, this upcoming theatrical trailer. It's going to give us a first glimpse of the story. It's going to tell you basically what is the conflict, you know, who are the protagonists and how they're going to connect, how they're going to bond, maybe a little bit comedic, you know, bits in there, but mainly the big threat or the darkness that's supposed to be arriving and like causing this huge threat to the human race. That's what I think this trailer is going to focus on, and I think it's going to have action, it's going to have humor, but I think it's going to be a more serious trailer. That's just kind of what I feel, because there's a serious threat on the way. That's what the Maximals and Autobots have to unite for. In addition, I got to talk about this as well. There's the theatrical poster for Transformers Rise of the Beasts that are showing up in cinemas, and it looks crazy good. I love that so much. You got Optimus Prime facing Optimus Primal, and it has the title Unite or Fall. That is brilliant. That's a great tagline. I love that. Many people are saying, I wish Optimus would have been facing somebody like Scourge, you know, or somebody like Battletrap, like someone that's actually on the bad side, the antagonists. You know, why is he facing Primal? Well, I think this movie's probably going to have them fight. They might fight. They might face off initially, and they might be forced to unite, or they might be kind of forged together because of the threat that's on the way. I think initially they're going to be at odds. There's a reason why they're doing this in the poster. And I think also there's probably some antagonists that are larger than Scourge, larger than Battletrap, that they can't really spoil in this poster. There's probably some other characters that these two will have to face off against that they can't reveal in the poster, because that would be kind of like a spoiler. For this to be the front cover, like this to be the poster in theaters for this movie is interesting, but I'm here for it. I think it's awesome. You know, having Scourge or Battletrap, for example, it would make sense because, you know, they're enemies. But I think this kind of has a better effect because this is the rise of the beasts. Well, the Maximals are beasts. So this shows the integration of kind of like the multiverse integration. You know, I say multiverse because the universe of Beast Wars with the universe of the standard Transformers are merging for the first time on the big screen. That's huge. That's historic. So having a beast, having Truck and Monkey face off, that's That's freaking cool. I'm sorry. So I like this. I can't wait. This is probably going to be the poster that they release with the trailer, like when they promote the trailer, like they'll probably have the tagline "Unite or Fall," and they'll put it out on social media, and then they'll have the full HD high res shot of them facing off. I can't wait because that's going to be my iPhone wallpaper, and I'm probably going to get a poster just like that. I also want to mention, it's just worth mentioning that if you zoom in, you do see the Twin Towers on the city skyline of New York. And 9/11 is a touchy subject for me. It always chokes me up because it's something that I was old enough to remember. I remember the day when that happened. I remember looking at the TV and seeing it, and I didn't know what it really meant. I was too young to really understand it, but I have a memory of that day. And looking back, doing all the research that I've done, it's a day that really hits because it's just so incredibly sad what happened. But seeing it on the Rise of the Beasts cover kind of hits a little bit. It just, because this movie was set in the 90s, so the towers would have been standing. So I think having that real world integration in a fictional story in a brand new 2023 movie, being able to see them on the skyline just feels good. It's like a bittersweet feeling. But it's accurate technically because of the timeline that it was placed in, and I'm glad that they're doing it. I don't know if we're gonna see them, in the movie itself when they do the skyline shot. I hope we do. I think we should remember. It just kind of helps you remember, but that's interesting. I like that. I personally like that a lot. So June 9th. Now, in addition, there's also some news of a delay for Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and it actually has been delayed to June 22nd for Australia and New Zealand. Now, as far as we know, it's not international. That delay is not worldwide. It's not global. So the United States so far still is June 9th. They have not given a specific reason for the delay, but there are many things, according to people that are in Australia, that they say it probably makes sense why they would delay it for us. And this is completely normal, by the way, for movies. Movies do this all the time. All the time. And it usually is in certain select countries for whatever reason. It could be the regulations there, it could be the laws there, it could be the companies there, it could be literally anything that affects the release. And, while Paramount hasn't specified what it is, I don't believe personally that it is the movie, the movie is the problem. Because if that were the case, this delay would affect way more countries than just Australia and New Zealand. Because the same movie is going to be shown there that is going to be shown worldwide. If the issue was the movie or something was wrong with the CGI or like what people are saying, then this delay would not affect just a certain country because the same film is going to be shown to other countries. So if the movie was the issue, then everybody would be delayed. But there's something specific, with the logistics involving the release that are in specifically Australia and New Zealand that unfortunately caused the delay. Now, if they were to delay this movie worldwide to June 22nd, 2 weeks, I think it is, I don't think that would be a problem. Honestly, yes, it would hurt our feelings. We would all be upset because we're fans, we want to see it. But if they're doing it for the purpose of refining the film, putting some very last finishing touches, I think in the long run, in the distant future looking back, it might be more beneficial, not only because the film will have better quality, but because it will be much after Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, which is going to be a really big competitor for this movie at release. And I've said this on live stream, but the live stream is membership only exclusive. If you want to be a member and watch it, you can. Just join us on YouTube, be a member. But I said this on live. I said that I think the month of May is going to be the month of marketing. It has to be the month of marketing. They have to go full speed ahead, maximum overdrive into the marketing for this film if they want it to do well, because the month of May cannot be like the month of April of 2023. Not if they want this movie to succeed in the fashion that it can if they get the marketing there. We're going to get a lot of TV spots. We're going to get a lot of different cuts of the initial theatrical trailer. We're going to get a lot of stuff in the month of May, and we should. This is the month that we should go in because as soon as June breaks, It's not like we have all of June. As soon as we break into June, it's going to be time to premiere. Apart from that, holy freaking crap, we got news of the 2024 animated film, which is absolutely wild. This is one of the most exciting bits of information that we've ever gotten for this movie, in my opinion, and it's got my hype and excitement way, way, way higher than it was before. Now, once again, this is an interview with Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, so I'm not going to say it's not true, just don't believe 100% of it, but I think the core elements of what was reported is true. So the first thing I want to say is that the 2024 animated film is not titled A New Generation. That was the tentative title, kind of like the placeholder title so far. That's what they basically gave us initially, or that's kind of what was just a suggested title at first. According to Lorenzo, that is not the title, and he says, quote, "We haven't firmly decided, but we are going to announce it soon." I do want to say that ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, is confirmed to animate the upcoming 2024 Transformers film, which is huge, because they are massive. They've done Star Trek, they've done a lot of Star Wars, they've done Transformers, they've done stuff in the MCU. They are very good at their work. They are an industry giant. So them taking control of this project it's a really good sign of the animation style and quality that is going to be present in his next film, and I'm really excited to see that. So this is the film that's supposed to be directed by Josh Cooley. It's supposed to release on July 19th, 1 week from my birthday, so that's a big hype. I don't think any Transformers movie has released that close. But the biggest piece of information that we got about this is that not only is this going to be one film, but it has the potential. They are looking at the possibility of a new trilogy that this will start. It's not connected to Bayverse, not connected to Rise of the Beasts even, that continuity. It will be its own animated continuity on the big screen. That is absolutely phenomenal. Of course, it depends on the success of this one. If this one does well, they're more likely to take what Lorenzo calls the natural trilogy, which basically means that the relationships are so natural, you can kind of foresee what the new installments would bring. They will take this natural trilogy and make them into new installments if it does well. That's incredible, because if that happens, if everything goes right with the 2024 animated film and Rise of the Beasts, we're looking at 3 films for Rise of the Beasts, Rise of the Beasts itself, the sequel, and then the finale, that trilogy, and then we have the animated potential trilogy. So this 2024 untitled film and 2 installments after that. That is 6 total movies on the big screen, 3 live action, 3 animated. That is possible if all of this performs well and goes as planned. That's freaking awesome, because that's a new era. That's a brand new era. That's decade. That's going to span for several years, especially, because it takes about 2-3 years in between to produce each one of them. But the biggest piece of information that we got from this is that this is going to be the origin movie that we've all been waiting for, we've all been wanting. I said we need an Optimus Prime solo film with the Optimus Prime story as Orion Pax, but this is going to give us that, except it's not just talking about Optimus, but it'll give the origin for Megatron, and not just Megatron, but this film is supposed to be the origins of the entire society of Transformers, the entire race of Transformers. So we're talking about potential integrations of Primus, integrations of Unicron, integrations of the core of Cybertron, Orion Pax, hopefully maybe Alpha Trion, freaking Megatron, how Megatron and Soundwave became so closely connected, how Optimus became the Prime on the big screen. For me, that's freaking huge. Now, I know I've seen a lot of things online, people saying, oh yeah, it's the same thing we already pretty much know. It's the same story. We've seen it in comics, we've seen it in different shows, flashbacks, different. But I say, I don't care. This is going to be on a much bigger scale than ever before. And the reason why this is special is because having a full-length film, Lorenzo said it, this is not just going to be starting on Cybertron. The whole movie is on Cybertron. This is the Cybertronian film that we all wanted. Well, most of us wanted. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for everybody. But the thing that makes it special is because it's going to be remaining on Cybertron for the full span of the movie, that means that they're going to have a lot of time to go into little small details, nuances, things about the story, conversations that we would have never heard at this level because it's expanded. By the way, the fans know the origin of the Transformers because we follow this stuff. We have watched probably almost all the shows. We see all the we're into this. The general public, all they know is Bayverse because that's all that's been out in the big screen. We had the 86 film, I think, a couple times, but it doesn't really talk about the origins at the length that this one is going to. So that's what's going to make it so nice. This has the potential of bringing new fans into the franchise. It's going to be introduce the general public into the real story of what started it all. So when they get into that theater, I'm talking the general public, not us. When they walk into that theater, they're going to be like, whoa, this is more than just like fighting and action. There's a real story here. There's a real connection here. This can harvest a whole lot of new fans. This movie, even though it's not called a new generation, can bring in a new generation of fans. 100%. And lastly, I just want to say, in addition, this is something that I actually managed to get from Deep Bonaventura Pictures, the studio. They replied to me and they said, Peter Cullen's potential involvement with the Transformers 2024 Cybertronian film will be revealed soon. So that, I'm not saying that they're confirming him, but if he wasn't supposed to be in this and he has nothing to do with it, they have nothing to reveal. So that kind of indirectly tells us that Peter Cullen will probably voice Optimus Prime in the 2024 film. And a couple of fans, some fans have met Peter Cullen at the conventions that he has been at recently. And according to them, I can't confirm it, but this is all hearsay. Peter Cullen himself has said he's working on the 2024 film, which touches my heart to the absolute core, because that's what I've been wanting him to have. I wanted him to voice the origin of Prime. Before he retires, before we no longer have access to his talent and to his presence, I've always wanted him to be able to voice that, because I just feel like the story of Prime should be voiced, the origins of Prime should be voiced by the character that brought him to life, that put the breath into this character like he did. And I just don't think any other voice actor deserves that honor except for Peter, so I'm really happy that he's getting the chance to do this Origins film. It's not the Optimus Prime solo film, but it will tell his story, and that's all I wanted. On the big screen, I just wanted that to happen. So if this is true, if Peter Cullen is voicing Prime in this, it's already super special to me just because of that. I hope he finishes it strong. I hope everything goes well with it, and I hope this movie is successful and Rise of the Beasts as well. So that's this episode. It's going to just be kind of like a news breakdown. I talk about this stuff in real time on Twitter, so if you guys follow me there, I try to keep up with it, though. There's a lot of news that comes through. I'm one person, but I try to do what I can, and it has been doing pretty well, so if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can. Please be respectful. But so far, you guys have been very great on Twitter. Only a handful of you I had to block and remove. I try to be respectful. I try to be, welcoming to everybody and make everything as proper as I can in like the news format that I like to write in, as well as also being excited. So follow me on Twitter, also on Instagram. But yeah, guys, that's it for this episode of Teletraan Report. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I will try to do more of these. This is just pretty much a test run of this format. If you guys like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Put it in the comment section. This is going to be a big week. I will do a trailer reaction, of the full trailer of Rise of the Beast, and I'm probably going to do a mashup as well. So follow me on Instagram, because I will put out a reel announcing it the day before, which is going to be tomorrow, for all of you guys to submit your reactions. Be excited. There is something that I think is going to be a surprise that's going to be really awesome that we're going to see probably in this trailer from a very reliable source that I have, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, that's it. That's the news for now, the major stuff at least, and stay tuned for more if you guys want to see it, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a nice one. Till all are one.